Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, swing your legs off the bed, and as your feet touch the floor, you feel it, that slow stiffness in your knees, almost like the hinges of an old door. For a moment, you pause and think, is this just how life is after 60? But let me share something surprising. Around the world, there are men and women in their 70s and 80s who move with energy, who bend, stretch, and even dance without groaning or holding their backs. The difference is not luck, and it is not expensive treatments. More often than not, it comes down to just a few small daily habits that protect and nourish their joints. And today, I want to share 3 of those habits with you. They are simple, they are practical, and you can start them today, no matter your age or current condition. In fact, let me give you a tiny win right now. If you are sitting, place your feet flat on the ground. Gently lift one heel, then the other, almost like you are tapping your toes to music. Do this for just 20 seconds. Feel that light warmth? That is blood moving into the joint, sending lubrication that your knees crave. A tiny action, yet it reminds your body that your joints are made to move, not rust. And here's why this matters. Healthy joints are not just about walking without pain. They are about freedom. Freedom to garden, to play with grandchildren, to travel, or even just to enjoy a morning walk without worry. Stay with me, because over the next few minutes, you and I are going to uncover 3 habits that could keep your joints strong and steady for years to come. The power of gentle daily movement. Let me tell you about a man I met during a community wellness workshop a few years ago. His name was Frank, 71 years old at the time. Frank had worked as a school principal, and after retirement, he imagined long walks in the park, maybe even some traveling with his wife. But within a few years of slowing down, his knees began to stiffen. His back felt heavy, and he thought, well, this must be aging catching up with me. But here is the twist. It was not age alone that caused his stiffness. It was the lack of movement. Our joints are like sponges. They do not have direct blood vessels bringing in nutrients. Instead, they rely on something called synovial fluid, a kind of natural joint oil. And the only way that fluid moves in and out, nourishing the cartilage, is through gentle motion. Without movement, the sponge dries up. With movement, it fills and refreshes itself. Think about it like this. If you leave a door unused for months, the hinges begin to squeak. But if you open and close it a few times every day, the hinges stay smooth. Your joints work the same way. Now here's the practical tip you can start today. Build joint snacks into your day. A joint snack is just 60 seconds of easy movement sprinkled throughout the day. For example, when you make tea or coffee, stand tall and gently roll your shoulders backward. Before you sit down to watch television, march in place for 30 seconds. After reading or using the computer, stand and stretch your arms overhead like you are reaching for the ceiling. These little movements may not feel like exercise, but that is the beauty. They wake up your joints, keep the fluid circulating, and prevent the slow, silent stiffening that sneaks in when we sit too long. Frank began doing this every morning before breakfast. He took 2 minutes to circle his ankles, stretch his hands, and gently twist his waist. Within weeks, he noticed he could rise from a chair more easily. Within months, he was walking further without that grinding sensation in his knees. The point is simple. You do not need an expensive gym, and you do not need to punish yourself with long workouts. What your joints crave is gentle, regular movement throughout the day. And here is where curiosity comes in. Movement is powerful, yes, but there is another hidden factor that quietly shapes the strength of your joints, and it is something most people completely overlook in their daily routine. That is what we are going to explore next. The role of daily hydration. I want you to picture your joints for a moment. Imagine 2 smooth stones gliding over one another in a shallow stream. The water cushions them, softens the friction, and lets them move freely. Now imagine those same stones without water scraping against each other in the dry dirt. That is what happens inside your body when you are not properly hydrated. Most people think of water as something that quenches thirst. But for your joints, water is the very foundation of comfort and flexibility. The cartilage that protects your knees, hips, and shoulders is made up of nearly 70% water. When you are hydrated, that cartilage is plump and cushioned, almost like a soft pillow between your bones. But when your body is even a little dehydrated, that cushion shrinks. The result? Stiffness, grinding, and discomfort. Let me share a story. A woman named Margaret, 68 years old, told me that she could not figure out why her knees felt worse every afternoon. She thought maybe it was her age, maybe it was arthritis getting worse. But when we looked closer, we realized she hardly drank water. She sipped coffee in the morning, maybe a little tea at lunch, but no clear water at all. Her joints were simply thirsty. Once she began drinking more water, just a glass first thing in the morning, another at midday, and one in the evening, she noticed a remarkable difference. It was not a miracle cure, but she felt less tightness and her energy lifted. Her joints were like those stones in the stream again, moving with ease. Now here's a practical way you can do the same. Use the one-glass anchor. Pair 1 glass of water with something you already do daily. For example, keep a glass of water by your bedside and drink it before your morning coffee. Place a glass on the counter and sip it while preparing lunch. Keep a small bottle near your favorite chair and take a few sips while watching television. These small anchors make hydration automatic. You do not need to force yourself to drink gallons, just steady sips throughout the day. And let me give you one extra motivator. Staying hydrated does not only ease your joints, it also supports clearer thinking, steadier energy, and even better skin. Your body will thank you in more ways than one. But here is the twist. While movement and hydration are powerful, there is another habit that many people completely forget about. And yet, it is one of the most important protectors of joint health after 60. Next, we will explore how a simple shift in daily nourishment can either inflame your joints or help them feel calm and strong. Nourishing your joints from the inside? Let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed how certain meals leave you feeling light and energized, while others seem to make your body feel heavy, swollen, or even achy the next morning? That is not your imagination. The food you eat has a direct impact on your joints. Here is a simple way to think about it. Imagine your joints as a campfire. When you eat foods high in sugar, refined oils, or heavily processed snacks, it is like throwing dry wood and gasoline onto the fire. The flames of inflammation leap higher, making pain and stiffness worse. But when you nourish your body with the right foods, it is like placing calm, steady logs that burn gently and keep you warm without the flare-ups. Science backs this up. Certain foods help fight inflammation in the body, protecting the very tissues that cushion your joints. For example, fatty fish like salmon or sardines are rich in omega-3 sais, which act almost like natural lubricants. Bright-colored vegetables like spinach, bell peppers, and berries bring antioxidants that cool down joint inflammation. Even simple herbs like turmeric or ginger can make a noticeable difference, calming that inner fire. Let me tell you about Helen, a grandmother of 5 who loved baking cookies for her grandkids. The only problem was she also loved eating them. She started noticing that after weekends of sugary treats, her knees were so stiff she could barely kneel in the garden. But once she swapped some of those cookies for fresh fruit and began sprinkling turmeric into her soups, she felt the difference within weeks. Her joints were calmer and her energy steadier. Now, I am not saying you must give up every treat. Life is meant to be enjoyed. The key is balance. Try this simple guideline with every meal. Make sure half your plate is filled with colorful vegetables or fresh fruit. This ensures you are feeding your joints protective nutrients instead of fueling inflammation. And here is a very practical tip. Think in terms of swap, do not stop. Instead of soda, try sparkling water with lemon. Instead of white bread, try whole grain bread. Instead of candy, try a handful of nuts or berries. These small swaps create lasting changes without making you feel deprived. Your joints are like gardens. If you water them with nourishing foods, they flourish. If you neglect them, weeds of inflammation begin to take over. Now, we have looked at movement, hydration, and nourishment. But there is another daily habit that often gets overlooked, one that may surprise you. It has nothing to do with food or exercise, but it quietly determines how well your joints repair themselves every single day. That is what we will uncover next. The healing power of restful sleep. There is a saying I love. The body repairs itself not when we are busy, but when we are resting. And nowhere is that more true than in the health of your joints. Every night while you sleep, your body goes into repair mode. Tiny micro tears in your muscles and joints, which happen naturally during the day, are quietly mended. inflammation is reduced. Fresh supplies of collagen, the very protein that gives your joints their cushion and flexibility, are created. Sleep is not just rest, it is your body's workshop, where deep maintenance happens behind the scenes. Yet, many people over 60 tell me that sleep is one of their biggest struggles. They fall asleep but wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning, or they toss and turn with restless legs and stiff joints. The result is not just fatigue the next day, it is joints that never get the full repair they need. Let me share the story of James, a retired bus driver. For years, he brushed off his poor sleep as just part of getting old. But after learning about the connection between sleep and joint health, he made a few small changes. He set a nightly routine, dimming the lights after dinner, sipping a warm cup of chamomile tea, and turning off the television 30 minutes before bed. He also placed a supportive pillow between his knees, which eased pressure on his hips. Within weeks, not only was he sleeping more soundly, but he also noticed his knees were less swollen in the morning. Here is a simple tip you can try tonight. Aim for what I call the sleep sandwich. Start with a gentle wind down, maybe light stretching or reading something calming. Then give yourself a comfortable sleep environment, cool room, dark curtains, supportive mattress. Finally, close with a morning routine that signals your body the cycle is complete, perhaps stepping outside for sunlight or gentle movement. That rhythm teaches your body when to rest and when to wake. And here is the curious twist. While sleep may sound passive, it is actually one of the most active healing tools you have. Without it, even the best exercise or healthiest diet cannot fully protect your joints. But with it, your body becomes its own medicine. We have now explored movement, hydration, nourishment, and rest. But there is still one more habit that ties everything together, one that is as much about your mindset as it is about your body. The often forgotten habit, mindful posture and daily awareness. Have you ever caught yourself slouching in a chair, shoulders rounded forward, neck craned toward a screen, or maybe leaning on one hip while standing in the kitchen? At first it seems harmless, but over time, poor posture and daily habits of how we carry ourselves put enormous strain on the joints. Think of your body as a tall building. If the foundation is solid and every floor is stacked evenly, the building stands strong for decades. But if one floor shifts even slightly, cracks begin to form. That is what happens when posture is misaligned. Your joints are forced to carry loads they were never designed for, and they begin to wear out faster. Let me share a story about a woman named Clara. She loved knitting, often sitting for hours in her favorite armchair. Over time, she developed pain in her shoulders and stiffness in her neck. She thought it was arthritis, but when her physical therapist looked closer, it was clear her posture, head tilted forward, shoulders hunched, was the real culprit. Once she learned to sit with support, take breaks, and gently stretch, her pain eased dramatically. Here is an easy analogy to remember: your body is like a stack of plates. When stacked straight, they stay balanced with no effort, but tilt just one plate, and the whole stack wobbles. Your joints crave that same balance. So, how can you practice mindful posture? Here are a few simple steps. Check your alignment when sitting: feet flat on the floor, back supported, shoulders relaxed. Use the string trick. Imagine a string gently pulling the crown of your head upward, lengthening your spine. Take standing breaks. Every 30 minutes, stand, stretch, and reset your alignment. Support your sleep posture. Use pillows to keep your spine neutral and your joints free of awkward twisting. Awareness is key. Simply checking in with your body a few times a day can prevent years of unnecessary joint stress. Now, I want to encourage you with this. It is never too late to start. Your joints respond at any age. Even people in their 70s and 80s notice remarkable improvements when they begin paying attention to posture and daily habits. It does not take perfection, just small, consistent adjustments. We have now covered 5 powerful habits: movement, hydration, nourishing foods, restful sleep, and mindful posture. Together, they form a circle of protection for your joints, helping you move with freedom and confidence at any age. But before we close, let us take everything we have learned and bring it together in a way that feels simple, doable, and motivating. Next, I will show you how to take one small step today that could change the way your joints feel tomorrow. Your joints, your freedom. We have traveled through quite a journey together. We began with a simple reminder that joint pain is not an automatic part of aging. Then we uncovered 5 daily habits that act like gentle guardians for your knees, hips, shoulders, and every joint in between: daily movement, steady hydration, nourishing foods, restful sleep, and mindful posture. Now let us pause and remember why this matters. Your joints are not just bones and cartilage. They are the hinges of your independence. They are what allow you to bend down and hug a grandchild, to carry groceries from the car, to walk through a park with a friend, or to dance slowly in the kitchen with your partner. Without strong joints, life begins to shrink. With strong joints, life stays open, rich, and full of choices. Here is the encouraging part. None of these habits require expensive equipment, complicated routines, or drastic changes. They are simple, gentle steps that fit naturally into your day. You can begin right where you are, no matter your age. So here is my challenge to you. Choose just one habit from what we covered today and begin it now. Maybe it is a 1-minute joint snack every morning. Maybe it is a glass of water with breakfast. Maybe it is placing a small pillow under your knees tonight for better sleep. Do not wait for a perfect plan. Start small and let the benefits grow. Remember, your body is always listening. Even the smallest act of care sends a powerful message. I am still alive, I am still moving forward, and I still deserve to feel good. And before we finish, I want to invite you to join this community of people who believe that age is not a limit but a new chapter. If you found this helpful, tap the like button, share your own experiences in the comments. What has helped your joints the most? And subscribe so we can keep walking this path together. Because after 60, life is not about slowing down. It is about finding smarter ways to keep moving, to keep living, and to keep feeling free.